The conference room fell silent when the countdown appeared on the giant screen. 10 minutes. 600 seconds. One impossible deadline. Every executive stared at the trembling young financial analyst standing alone at the end of the polished table while the CEO's icy voice echoed through the room. If he couldn't prove his claim before the timer reached zero, security would escort him out of the building, his career would be over, and everyone would remember him as the employee who wasted the company's most critical meeting. But what nobody knew was that in less than 9 minutes, he would save $300 million, expose the executive everyone trusted most, and completely change the future of the company forever. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps our community continue sharing stories that remind us how courage and compassion can change lives. The headquarters of Halcyon Dynamics overlooked a bright city skyline glowing beneath a clear blue afternoon sky. The company had become one of the fastest-growing engineering corporations in North America, earning billions through government infrastructure projects and renewable energy innovations. Its leader, CEO Meredith Vaughn, had built her reputation by making fearless decisions and demanding absolute excellence. Employees respected her brilliance but feared her impatience. She believed hesitation was more dangerous than failure, and she rarely gave anyone a second chance. Among thousands of employees worked Rowan Mercer, a quiet 32-year-old senior financial analyst whose desk sat unnoticed near the back corner of the finance department. Rowan wasn't the loudest voice in meetings or the person seeking recognition. He preferred numbers to speeches, facts to politics, and honesty to ambition. Years earlier, his father had lost everything after exposing financial fraud at another corporation. Though his father had ultimately been proven right, the stress destroyed his health, leaving Rowan with a lifelong lesson that truth often arrived too late to protect good people. Because of that memory, Rowan reviewed every report with extraordinary care. His co-workers joked that he could find a misplaced penny inside a billion-dollar budget. Most laughed affectionately, but a few executives considered him unnecessarily cautious. They admired speed, while Rowan admired certainty. The company was preparing to approve the largest acquisition in its history, a $300 million purchase of an advanced manufacturing firm. Investors, board members, and legal advisors filled the conference room under the warm daylight pouring through the enormous windows. Everything had been reviewed, approved, and celebrated. Everything except one spreadsheet. Just 30 minutes before the final board meeting, Rowan discovered several payment schedules that didn't match internal projections. The numbers looked ordinary at first glance, but subtle rounding adjustments repeated across dozens of financial models created an illusion of profitability. Individually, each difference appeared insignificant. Together, they concealed losses exceeding $300 million. His heart raced. He knew interrupting the meeting would place his career in danger. Yet remaining silent would betray every value his father had taught him. He entered the executive conference room carrying only a laptop and a folder filled with handwritten notes. The interruption was met with immediate frustration. Meredith stared at him with visible annoyance. Investors exchanged impatient looks. The chief financial officer, Graham Ellison, smiled politely and assured everyone that junior analysts sometimes misunderstood complex acquisition models. Rowan respectfully insisted there had been a mistake. The room became tense. Meredith finally stood and announced that if Rowan believed the entire executive team was wrong, he had exactly 10 minutes to prove it. Otherwise, he would be dismissed immediately for disrupting the company's most important decision of the year. A digital timer appeared on the presentation screen. 10 minutes. Rowan took a slow breath. Instead of arguing emotionally, he opened the financial model and highlighted a series of tiny currency conversions hidden inside supplier contracts. He explained how each adjustment shifted projected earnings by fractions of a percent. The executives dismissed the differences as insignificant. He kept going. Next, he connected those adjustments to warranty reserves. Individually they still looked harmless. Then he revealed the insurance liabilities. Silence spread across the room. Those liabilities connected directly to environmental cleanup obligations that had quietly disappeared from the acquisition summary. 4 minutes remained. Several board members leaned forward. Graham calmly interrupted, insisting Rowan had misunderstood outdated documentation. Meredith looked uncertain. Rowan didn't argue. He simply opened another folder. Inside were archived emails that had accidentally remained accessible through internal audit records. He had discovered them while verifying invoice timestamps. The emails revealed revised financial assumptions submitted just days earlier. Not illegal by themselves, but unusual. 3 minutes remained. Rowan overlaid the email timeline with payment authorizations. Every change originated from Graham's office. Still, coincidence wasn't proof. The room held its breath. Then Rowan revealed the final document. An unsigned consulting agreement authorizing massive success bonuses if the acquisition closed before the end of the quarter. The bonuses were tied directly to the manipulated forecasts. Only 2 minutes remained. Faces around the room turned pale. One independent board member requested immediate verification through the company's secure audit system. Within seconds, the internal auditors confirmed every document was authentic. The atmosphere changed instantly. The confident smiles disappeared. Meredith slowly looked toward Graham. For the first time in years, he looked frightened. As investigators reviewed additional files, another shocking discovery surfaced. Several overseas accounts connected to shell consulting firms had received advance payments linked to the acquisition process. Those firms existed only on paper. Millions had already begun disappearing through carefully disguised consulting expenses. The timer still displayed 1 minute and 12 seconds. Security officers quietly entered the conference room. Everyone assumed they had arrived for Rowan. Instead, they approached Graham. He attempted to remain calm, insisting there had been a misunderstanding, but every explanation collapsed under the weight of verified evidence. Years of carefully constructed trust dissolved within moments. The countdown reached 53 seconds. Meredith stood completely motionless. She realized the employee she had nearly fired had just prevented the greatest financial disaster in the company's history. The acquisition was immediately suspended. Federal investigators were contacted. Board members unanimously authorized a complete forensic audit. The stock market responded positively after the company voluntarily disclosed the attempted fraud before investors suffered losses. Analysts praised the transparency, calling it one of the strongest examples of corporate accountability in recent years. But Rowan wasn't celebrating. He quietly gathered his notes, believing he had simply done what any honest employee should do. As he reached the conference room door, Meredith asked him to stay. The entire room watched. Instead of delivering another sharp instruction, she walked across the room and admitted something she had almost forgotten after years of leading a billion-dollar corporation. She admitted that power sometimes creates dangerous confidence. She had trusted titles more than integrity. She had listened to reputation instead of evidence. She had nearly silenced the one person brave enough to challenge everyone else. For Rowan, those words mattered more than any promotion. He remembered his father, whose courage had cost him everything because nobody had listened in time. This time, someone had. During the following weeks, the company transformed its culture. Anonymous reporting systems were strengthened. Junior employees received direct access to independent ethics officers. Financial reviews required multiple departments instead of relying on executive approval alone. Managers were evaluated not only on profits but also on honesty, transparency, and how they treated the people beneath them. Meredith personally attended every ethics training session. She often shared the story of the afternoon when she almost fired the man who ultimately saved the company. She never mentioned it to embarrass herself. She shared it to remind everyone that wisdom begins the moment pride ends. Rowan eventually accepted a new leadership role, but he insisted on keeping his modest office near the finance team instead of moving into the executive floor. He believed good leaders stayed close enough to hear quiet voices before problems became disasters. Months later, investigators completed their work. Graham faced criminal charges for fraud, conspiracy, and financial manipulation. More importantly, countless employees kept their jobs because the company avoided catastrophic losses. Retirement funds remained secure. Families who depended on the business never realized how close they had come to losing everything. One bright afternoon, Meredith invited Rowan to the company's annual gathering held outside beneath warm sunshine. Instead of presenting him with an extravagant award, she handed him a simple framed photograph of the conference room timer frozen at exactly 9 minutes and 8 seconds. Below the photograph were a few carefully chosen words. "Courage doesn't need more time. It only needs someone willing to speak." Rowan smiled quietly. The photograph found a permanent place on his office wall, not as a reminder of victory, but as a reminder that ordinary people can make extraordinary differences when they choose integrity over fear. New employees often asked about the unusual picture. Rowan never spoke about exposing a traitor or saving hundreds of millions of dollars. Instead, he simply told them that every decision leaves a footprint on someone else's life, and the smallest honest action today may protect countless people tomorrow. His answer was always the same. Do the right thing while there's still time. Before this story ends, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a meaningful comment telling us about a moment when honesty, courage, or a second chance changed someone's life or inspired you to do the right thing even when it was difficult. As the afternoon sunlight reflected across the glass walls of the headquarters, Meredith watched employees laughing together with a renewed sense of trust. The company had recovered financially, but its greatest victory wasn't measured in dollars. It was measured in the courage of one overlooked employee who refused to stay silent, the humility of one leader who admitted she had been wrong, and the hope that a single act of integrity can rescue far more than a business. It can restore faith in people. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Remember, every person deserves to be heard, every honest voice deserves a chance, and sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones brave enough to speak when the entire world tells them to stay quiet.